Shabby Chic t-shirt flowers. I'm going to show you today how to make some beautiful Shabby Chic no-sew flowers out of t-shirts. The reason I chose to do t-shirts is because I'm making these flowers so that I designed them so that children can make them. There's a fair. Here's some other flowers that I made that I designed so that children can actually make them. These flowers, I'm going to a fair and we're going to have crafts for children. And I want to spark their creativity so that they can make their own flowers. These flowers, what that they're going to make will be corsages or a hair tie. See, it's just attached to a hair tie. And I'm really going to push the corsage because I like the shabby chic thought of it being a corsage. Here's another one on this wrist. It's done the same way. I have some tulip flowers, which always look gorgeous, and great fabric for children to make. Here you go. First thing I'm going to talk to you about is fabric. T-shirt material. It's all over the place. This one particular piece is a piece of a flat sheet of t-shirt material. It is fairly thin. And then I have two other pieces that you see in front of you that were made with, this one was made with this material, which is a blouse. Can you see the button there? These two are blouses. And this one here was made with this blouse. These blouses, this particular one, I was going to toss because I got lipstick all over it and I didn't want to clean it. But it belonged to my mom and that sparked my interest to think, I need to use this. And so it looks beautiful as flowers. This first flower I'm going to show you, they look like this. I'm not the first one to think about this style of flower, but the way I'm making them no-sew, I have not seen anyone else make them that way. This is how I use them. You see this? This is a beautiful wreath that I made. It's a heart wreath, and I have it for sale on Etsy. But I wanted to show you it because these flowers, these t-shirt flowers, I used them in here. Can you spot them? The first one I see is this brown one. Can you see that? How beautiful that is? This one is made with a satiny material. Then I have another one over here that is also a satiny material, but this is actually from a vintage wedding gown. Using the material from a wedding gown that I found. And this is my favorite. This piece is made from some material that I got from my mom's stash. When my mom passed, I got a lot of things, and this is one of the things that I pulled out of her stash, and it was just a piece of material she had collected. So maybe showing you how to make something like this will come in the future, but right now I'm going to teach you how to make this shabby chic flowers. The first thing you do is you take your material and you cut it into strips. See, I have two here. Can you see that they're different sizes? Yes, they're different sizes. So the width, approximately 2.5 inches, 3 inches. You can go smaller or bigger. As you can see, I see this one right here that I have. I made really small. It was probably 2 inches or 1.5 inches. So they still come out beautiful. But sometimes the bigger ones are easier to... Make sure you don't stretch your t-shirt material, because if you do, this is what will happen. It'll turn into a string, which is very useful maybe for crocheting, but when you stretch it, it turns into a string. So you got to be careful. This one I accidentally stretched, and it's kind of a little bit more difficult. It still opens up, but so be careful. Keep it without stretching it. There will be times when you want to stretch your material and times when you don't. And right now is not the time to do it. So I want you to notice this one. I'm going to lay it flat. You start by all you do is fold it in half. So it becomes approximately 1 inch. Just fold it right in half. And when you fold it in half, I have another one that I have folded here. Fold it in half, and then all you do, because this material stays together, you snip. And you want to leave here at the bottom about 1/4 of an inch. You don't want it to separate. T-shirt material stays together. It doesn't, you don't have to sew it. It's very forgiving. One thing though, it doesn't fray like some of the other materials I showed you in the flowers on my wreath. It doesn't fray, so all you do is you just keep snipping. Make sure it is approximately in half, because it'll move a little, but not so much that you can't just snip. And the width of this, about 1/4 of an inch. You know, depending on the material you use, you might want it thinner, or what effect you want. You might want it wider. I'm going to show you right now a little secret about working with t-shirt material that you should know, that I want you to be aware of. So I have these two here. They're the same material, but I'm going to put it up close. And I want you to notice on this one here, see how it's kind of a little bit floppy? That's because you see the grain? I folded it in such a way that the grain is running this way. And look, I want you to notice how much this stretches. Stretches really wide. Now this one, look, the grain is running this way. You see them? This camera works pretty well. You can see that grain. I see it there and there. Now this one, it will not stretch. See, it's made to stretch this way. So if you wanted to, you could stretch it and form, you know, the shape each of your flowers. And it does stay open, so you see the shape of that flower. If you'd want to, you can go every single one and stretch it. But I think that it looks lovely like this. You see them? You see the difference in them? This one's a little floppy. This one's a little more firm. Okay, so you can use that to make choices. So let's see if I finished this. I sure did. Now, one of the things is my mom. This video's in honor of my mom. Well, let me tell you about what I'm doing here first. All you do is you start to roll. You roll, 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 roll. I'm going to turn it upside down because I like to roll it upside down, but you can roll it any way you want. But I keep it fairly even. You can see as I'm rolling. But while I'm rolling, I'm going to tell you about my mom. My mom passed away about 2 years ago, and I'd like to dedicate my very first video to her, because she is no longer with us, but she's with us in our personalities, in our looks, and in the way we like to keep every little thing. So I'm crafty so that I can use up all the things I want to keep. Here you go. You see that? Okay, but there you go. I'm almost done here. These will be just wonderful to make with children. But while I'm making this, I want you to tell me if you saw a flower down below that you really would like me to teach you how to make, because I will teach you. And I think my next video is either going to, one of the things I'm going to focus on too are bargains. I want you to learn how to make a bargain. Now, isn't this a bargain way to use material? So this Shabby Chic flower cost you time. And you used scraps. I used scraps. I used a blouse that to make it. Okay, so I roll it. Now the next thing I do is I grab a piece of yarn. This is a piece of yarn. You can use string. You can make string with your t-shirt material and use that because you do have, it will totally match. But for this particular one, I'm going to make sure that you get this last one. See the last piece? Make sure your string's going to go through here. Okay, I'm just going to put part of it there. And then what you're going to do is flip it over, and you're going to want to go about halfway through, trying to get that center where you started there. And just see, halfway, about halfway. I'm not being exact, just halfway, approximate. And then you flip it over. Okay, making sure that this is there. This is a little harder for me to do because I'm trying to show you. But the next thing I do is I'm just going to knot this back here. This is the way I'm going to keep them together. I'm not going to put hot glue. I'm not going to put a felt piece on the bottom of them. I'm just going to use this. Now, you see that? I'm not going to leave it. I'm going to go really tight, as tight as I can. Can you see how it changed into a figure 8? That's what you want. Make it nice and tight. Nice and tight. And then I'm just going to knot it. And see, it looks like that's what's going to keep it together, how tight you do that. Okay? And can you see here, I grabbed it in that first one. That last one I wrapped, it's there. Now, you can't even see it when I flipped it over, can you? Nope. But I can look for it. You can see it there. So you can decide if you want to put your bling. You want to put what kind of bling you want to put. This one is actually a shiny button. You make that decision. But this is how you make the Shabby Chic t-shirt flower. Now, for me, because I'm making them with children, I'm going to simply use a glue dot to attach my centers. And I'm using this very inexpensive, but beautiful center because we're doing it as a craft and I want to keep the price as low as I can so I can make my money back for all the supplies that I purchased, from scissors to glue to different things. Again, my name is Liz from Crafty Devotion, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Please message me, let me know what you liked and what you didn't like, or any of these flowers that you'd like to see me make. I think I'm going to be making these two next. Oops, the center came out because I didn't attach it. I just wanted you to see. You can put different ones. I think I'll make these next. They're made slightly different, but the same. Or these. These are beautiful, lovely flowers. And these are truly shabby chic. You can see them fraying. I like the fray. Until next time, when I see you on my second video. This is Liz Benavides from Crafty Devotion. Goodbye.